Alright, so we got this dry. You can put it out face down on a towel for a while in the sun, and flipped it over and flipped it back several times and so on. This is a real nice color. I think what we have here is these were not put on by layers. They were put on as single layers, and I put a lot of red on in one layer. These up here had a lot of water in them, and they actually seem to have stayed more there. They're lighter, the marks of them. But a lot of the red came up, which is fine. I like it. But in order to get a dark red, it's not a matter of getting here into your pigment and scooping up as much of it as you can and putting it in there. That is not permanent. So these are pretty good permanent colors that we have here. They have gone through being hosed down. I need to edit that video. The entire part of hosing it down, working on it, I had my head in front of the camera. Might as well mention these while I'm here. I have to move them. I mentioned earlier that I had gotten these 4 as part of a set of 8, and I paid $4. I paid $8, $4 for them, and $4 for shipping. I didn't. I think I paid $10. They're part of this whole set here. So I looked at the video and it sounded like you got a set of 8 that were all this large. They're not. I bought the whole set in order to get these larger ones here. These others are fine for detail on other things, and yeah, not needed right now. But these were what I bought them to get. And the same thing with these. This is one of the Michaels packets. I think I may have been holding these in front of my face instead of the camera again. Doing great with the production values today. And these are from the $5 bag from Artist Loft, and I just went through until I found a couple of rounds that would work. You see, they're approximately the same size, work on a larger paper. And then I pulled this one out for doing larger washes. A lot of watercolorists use flat brushes too. I like my rounds, but these are nice for smoothing across. And the mop brush again is for putting just putting water on so you can put color into your water. So here we are with another. You cannot hurry a watercolor. I hurried it a little bit by putting it out there to dry, but it's cool to the touch. There's still a little bit of water in it, but not a lot. I decided that this should probably be kind of a yellowish color coming into. I'm going to bring the gray black down from here, and up in here I'm going to mix a bluish black to come down. And I think it'll come all the way around here. And I'm also thinking it might be fun to get some crispy lines in here, because now these lines where the pencil was, I softened by putting the water and brushing those out, and then softened them further with the hose and softened all of this. So getting a nice hard edge along here might be quite satisfying. So that's what I'm going to go for. Here's a selection of different blacks I made. I'm going to mix them all together and see what happens. Remember, these are watercolors. These are the ones I mixed up the other day. They're sitting right there and they're ready to go. Isn't that nice? Okay, this is kind of a bluey greeny one, and I might want that. And the darkest brown I have is this one over here, which is a burnt umber. Okay, let's try this. Make a go for it. Let's see, I guess the darkest part of it's going to be over here. So I do want to put some water in. Where I'm going to be meeting up with this dark gray. Now I'm not going to go up to the edge of these with this water. I'm going to go when I get the color in because it'll be darker, I think. Well, that's a nice color. It's too green though. So this, you see, this brush is really not at all suitable for this. So let's see what happens with a wide one. It's a little better. Okay, so I decided I was going to make bluish gray over here. I think I wet this part too. I don't really remember. It's blending together pretty nicely. It's kind of fun using this brush. But it makes a different sort of mark. It does make these squarish marks. They're nice for painting buildings, shadows on buildings, and stuff like that. Oh, that's why I had the masking tape to hold it up. And that's why it's looking funny there. And again, I'm not chicken scratching here. I'm swishing pigment up into this water that's waiting here for me. If I were doing this on dry paper, it would not look very good. And I think a lot of people see people doing this and think that they're painting brush strokes right onto the paper, but we're not. We're adding them to the water. Water plus color. Getting lots of watery, spready things. I'm just going to leave them alone. See, this is the charcoal one too. Okay, so I should be getting darker and more of a gray. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do, dark brown, is I'm going to make a red and green brown of my own, or a dark brown. Now, when you have your tube paint set out on your tray like this, it's real easy to do like you do in the pans, but you can get it down into here where you're using the actual pigment, and you let that dry. And it's not liable to fall off and roll down. It's just after the first day when you put it on and it dries and you haven't made mixing around it, it'll come off. Okay. All right, there's my red. Lots of it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then since this is a greenish brown, I'm going to put the red in there before I put any green. So I'm putting that's a hair, there it is. Blue and brown. Brown. That's a nice fountain pen black right there. I assume I'm still recording. Yeah. These kind of marks like this are not too good looking, so we're going to have to be putting another wash on top of this. Okay, and then is this Sit here. I don't have enough water in there. Remember how we looked at when we did the circles, practicing different wet into wet and wet into dry? And we did one where we had a lot of wet down and we put the color into it and it spread really nicely like that. We had another where we put the color down first and put the water into it, and it was much more stubborn about spreading. Look at that. I can push it around. Again, it's like that red. If you go too dark, it's on top, so it's still there and you can push it around, and that's nice because you can take it away a little bit.